Hi guys, it's Ray here from City Fan TV on Thursday evening. Hope you guys are well. Just rolled a couple of minutes past 9 o'clock in the UK. Hope you guys are well. We're up to this our fourth week under official lockdown. Hope you guys are well and are coping with the situation as best you can. It's not certainly not easy. Certainly not easy. I'm just going to stick this out on Twitter. What are we going to talk about tonight? Well, as usual, we have to make something up. Not make something up, get me words right. We're going to have to find a subject to talk about. And today, Uefa, well, it's not a lot. Uefa are going to release funds to clubs. That's really what we're going to talk about. Obviously, we'll go through the what happened on this day, as you can see behind me. And we'll talk about that. And we'll talk about anything else you guys want to talk about. We're here to answer, well, I'm here to answer your questions. So I'll just tell you a few of the videos we put out in the last 7 days or so. I think since last Friday. We had a fantastic chat with a Newcastle fan talking about Newcastle, the proposed takeover, and also, I mean, obviously some of it will. What's going to happen to them has happened to City as well. So we talked about FFP, we talked about something good that can happen in the area and the club and what could happen. And we're going back to 2008 when it happened to City. We also talked about some of the bad that could happen where with the journalists and other stuff that have already started. So we talked about that as well. So I think that's a cracking video. Personally, I had a really good time, a lot of fun making that video. We've also this week we spoke to Peter Thornton. So we talked about what went wrong with the season. What was holding us back, kind of stuff, and what we did wrong. And I think that's another good video. It's a shame we lost Peter at the end, but I think we got through most of it, and I really, really had a good time. Excuse me. And yesterday I talked to Mike Long from Bolt from the Blue. Mike Long from Bolt from the Blue. We were on for 2 hours. 2 hours. We started off talking about transfers. Looking at positions. Who would get in, who might go, but mostly who's going to come in, and a few players that we would get either on loan or get back from loan, like Zach Steffen, and others that we might be interested in, like Skriniar and Koulibaly, and Harry. Would be interested in Harry Kane, Son, and Houssem Aouar, and one or two others. That was fun, and then we've moved on to talking about the Tour de France ride. I'm going to start at the weekend. I'm going to start that on Sunday, and we talked about that, and we'll talk about that again another time, probably tomorrow, when hopefully I'll finally do the video that's going to accompany the launch of the Tour de France, and then we finished off talking about music, 80s music, mostly 80s music, and absolute crazy stuff we talked about. Talking about things like the Sisters of Mercy, Fields of the Nephilim, as well as Soft Cell and New Order and the Smiths and stuff like that. So it was a crazy evening. It's a 2-hour video, but it's immense fun making it. That's why one of the reasons I still do it. So I'll give some shout outs now, and then we will talk about what happened on this day. So Abdallah Mame, I'm very good, mate. I hope you are getting through this. Other fans and clubs would think our ban will stand for you. Abdallah, let's be honest. We have no idea when football in England is going to come back. We talked about this yesterday or the day before. We might get Germany coming back. Right now, I can't see Italy coming back in the next month or so. Anybody who does it behind closed doors, I think that's totally out of order. Not just because they're not having fans. I think it's wrong in the current climate. Now, I'm going to be very brief on this. I've talked many times about the death toll and how that's going to have an immense impact on football. Okay, and we're standing now with 190,000 confirmed dead around the world. Okay, USA has almost got 50,000. It'll hit 50,000 overnight by the looks of things. Spain, 22,000 people have died. They've still got nearly 8,000 serious and critical cases. It's not going away anytime soon. And, you know, still 400 people died today. Still over 400 people died, I think, in Italy. They've got 25,500 sadly passed away. Still got over 2,000 serious and critical. France, they've got 22,000 have passed away. They've still got over 5,000 serious and critical. I can't see any of those teams, any of those countries, sorry, really pushing for that in the short term. The UK, I mean, we're nearly on 19,000. You've got countries, small countries like Belgium, we've lost 6,500 people, but it's 8, 9, 10, 11 million people, no more than 11 million. That's really bad. The Netherlands, they've lost over 4,000 people, but you look at the deaths per population, and Belgium have lost 560 people per million of population. Netherlands, 244. Switzerland, you know, really surprising, but they've lost 179 people per a million population. Portugal have lost 80. Ireland have lost 161. Sweden are up to 200. These are big numbers. I mean, Sweden lost 2,000 people, and you think, well, it's maybe not that much. Sweden's got a population of about 8 or 9 or 10 million. It is a lot. And as I said before, I can't see a lot of these leagues coming back. Germany, I mean, Germany have lost 5,500 people. They're the ones who will look like they're the quickest to coming back, and that's going to be in early May. But in all honesty, I can't see us in this country playing football again, honestly, till at least June / July. And even then, I'm skeptical. Even then, I'm skeptical because the risks are too high. My feeling is at some point, there will be, it'll just be, right, that's it. We've got to stop. Okay? Because it's just senseless to keep putting it off. There'll come a point. And so that's why, Abdallah, yeah, I'll just go back to what Abdallah exactly said, and I'll just finish the point I'm making. So our ban with the Champions League ban, you know, it's, I said this before, is it something that's massively important right now for the Court of Arbitration for Sport? Yeah. No, this isn't over. You could be in another 10 days' time. You could have a total of 30,000 Italians confirmed dead. You could have 26,000 Spanish. France is still going up at 500 a day. UK is still going up at the published number is today was 638. It's still an immense amount. And when the UK start publishing more details on care homes, I mean, that 18 and nearly 19,000 that it stands at now, I mean, that's for the up to 5 o'clock yesterday. It's not even up to date in hospitals. It's just hospital deaths. So we're already about 19 and a half, well over 19,000 hospital deaths in the UK when they get the numbers up to speed. But when you had the community deaths, we might be 25, 30,000. It's, you know, I just can't see football recommencing. So I can't see CAS pushing to resolve this. Yeah, Abdallah, it was a great video with the Newcastle fan. Don't worry about it. Hi, Catherine. I've done one of those videos, Catherine. We'll probably do something again. I'll get somebody on and we'll talk about the players of the season. And I think we kind of touched on that in previous videos, but we'll go through that again. Hi, Danny. Hope you're well. Hi, Abdallah. Well, I've always said this, in my opinion, the fairest way or the least unfair way is to continue the season. So it's going to happen. It's going to happen at some point, Abdallah. Yep, Catherine, rounds of applause for the NHS. Don't hear too much in my neck of the woods, to be honest. Hey, Robert, hope you're well, buddy. Nice to have you on. Voice of the North, my daughter's an auxiliary nurse at Withenshaw Hospital. Withenshaw Hospital, based at, what did I hear about Withenshaw Hospital today? Oh, there was something in the news. I'm sorry, Voice of the North. I'm trying to remember what I heard about Withy. I don't think they're doing any trials there. I can't remember, sorry. But yeah, look, everybody working in the NHS, you know, big thumbs up to you guys. Anybody working in what we'll call an essential job, you know, whether it's in the NHS, care homes, even bus drivers, you know, and stuff like that. It's all really, really important. You know, pharmacists, and, you know, a lot of pharmacists. And I'm going down, supposed to go today, but I'm going to go tomorrow to the chemist to get some medicine. And those guys are still working. So it's really, really important that we let people, you know, these essential and much needed workers know that we respect them and thank them for putting their lives on the line, because I think it's over 120. It's around that sort of level. NHS staff and care home workers and auxiliary, you know, healthcare assistants, doctors, nurses, healthcare assistants, and other people working in hospitals and care homes. It's 120 people have their lives on the line, and sadly, you know, 120 have already passed away. Unfortunately, no, that's not going to happen. I mean, I called for it a month ago, and you know, other people are doing it similar. I said, look, just give across the board. There's apparently 1.5 million people who work in the National Health Service in one form or another. I said, just give them £2,000. Just pay them £2,000, no tax, tax-free £2,000. It's going to cost £3 billion. In the overall scheme of things, that's nothing. Absolutely peanuts in the overall scheme of things. And then I said, give them that tax-free and pay everybody an extra £2,000 in their salaries. That's it. Just pay them £2,000. Okay, you'll tax them and they'll lose about a quarter of that. But still, you know, somebody will be about over three, maybe even £3,500 better off. And if you're on a really, really low wage, you know, someone to get an extra £3,500 for the year, I think it's fantastic. You know, and people are dying. People are dying for their vocation, for looking after people. So it's really, really important. Let's quickly go through April the 23rd. What happened on this day? Well, on this day, 1904, Billy Meredith scores the only goal as City beat Bolton 1-0 in the FA Cup final. Believe me, I wasn't there. So that's FA Cup final, 1904. You know, what history? No history? We've got some history, guys. We go back a long, long way. Catherine says people that can go out and don't clap for the NHS. It's you know, there's people going out, there's still people going out having a good time, and they don't care. You know, it's a very selfish way view of the world, and unfortunately, that's the world we live in. You know, for all the good people out there, there's plenty of bad people as well who are selfish. You know, well, what can you do? Robert Lang, I like your glasses. Cheers, mate. They must be knocking on these glasses. Quite a few years old. My Auntie Elsie's favourite player, Billy Meredith. Well, Billy Meredith played for a very, very long time, Billy Meredith. He must have played for about, I mean, it sounds daft what I'm going to say. I'm going to say he played for about 30 years. I'm just going to have a quick look up. But he's a Welsh guy. I mean, he was quite old when he passed away. He was, let's have a look. He was 83 when he passed away. And that was in 1958. Now, he was a Welsh footballer. He was actually born in a place called Chirk. And I've been to Chirk, actually. There's a castle there. In one of the holidays, we went as kids to Wales, so we would just go around castles. So that's a small mining town in Denbighshire in Wales, just south of Wrexham. And so his club career, he's a funny old guy. He's really a funny old guy because he did move around a bit. Okay, he started in 1892. Apparently, he was at Northwich Victoria, but he didn't do anything with them. But the stats are very hard to get hold of. And then he came to Man City in 1894, and he stayed with us for he was here for 10 seasons. Most of that time we're in the second division. Well, 6 seasons in the second and 6 in the first, so half the time. So he was in second division and the first division, and I think we won the title. No, we didn't win the title. So we won the FA Cup, under his whilst he was there. Then I think we had the bribery scandal, and he was banned for a season. And then because City didn't support him, there's some problems money wise. I know salary cap. You had a wage cap in those days, and he basically got done for bribery. And because he felt City didn't support him, he spilled the beans on City about their paying players too much. And he actually ended up going to Man United. So after all those seasons at City, 10 seasons or 11 seasons, whatever, playing for City, he ended up at United, and he played 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, about 11 seasons at United until 1921. So, all those seasons at City, all those seasons at United. And then he came back to City for 3 more seasons. He played 1 full season and then 2 bits and pieces seasons. And I don't think he was all finished by then. But you've got to remember, the guy started playing football in 1894 and finished in 1924, as I said, 30 years. So he was a bit of a character. Both the best performance this season was against Spurs. I'm not so sure about that. In one of them, the first game against Spurs, we absolutely smashed them to pieces. The game at United, where we beat them in the Carabao Cup, the semi-final first leg, that was a fabulous game as well. That first half was awesome. Real Madrid, overall, especially with the result, that was important as well. Abdel says panic buying has decreased. Yeah, I mean, when I go out tomorrow, hopefully I'll get some eggs now. There's still a problem getting stuff delivered. That's the big issue we've got, is getting stuff delivered. So I'm going to have to do some shopping tomorrow, go out, because I want some eggs. That's the biggest thing I want. I want some eggs and some fresh meat. And so that's going to be on my agenda. Maybe some donuts or something like that. I just fancy a little bit of a treat. Robert, what is the best away stadium you've been to? Oof, Robert. I've got to be able to remember it. Okay, so that's one problem. Back in 2004, was it? I went to Portugal to watch the Euros. So some good stadiums over there. I think I went to a game in Braga and a game in Porto. But I'm not going to include them. Can I include stadium in France, Stade de France? Went there. Was it Stade de France? Or Parc de France? I can't remember now. Was it Parc de? Might be Parc de France. We went to watch an international game. That was nice as well. Obviously, Wembley's a cracking stadium. Spurs' new stadium is out of this world. It really is out of this world, Spurs' new stadium. I like going to places like Fulham. I like Fulham Stadium. That's a really nice walk from the station along near the river. And if the weather's nice, that's nice. I'm trying to think where else. I haven't been to Anfield for a few years now, and Everton Stadium for a few years. But they're probably the ones that immediately spring to mind. City, then United, then back to City, absolutely voice to the north. I mean, it's unusual to have somebody who's gone to both and spent so, and won stuff, I think, at both. Aldi's the best place to shop. Less queues. I've not been anywhere, so I don't know. Abdullah, Aldi like the social distancing of Asda. Well, to be honest, the last time I went to Asda, actually in the shop, that was before Asda started doing social distancing, and that was pretty poor. Probably went on the 24th of March, I think. It was pretty poor of Asda then because they hadn't implemented anything, and it was, you got these social distancing rules and stay at home kind of lockdown kind of thing, and people were not really doing it really. Hey Angus, nice to have you on board. Nice to have you on board. Right, I know you're alive, mate. I see you every day on Twitter. Let's talk a little bit. We talked a bit about Billy Meredith. Let's talk about it's the minor news. I mean, that's all we have to talk about. Sadly, is the minor news that UEFA are going to release some money to clubs. So both City and United will benefit from this. Now, basically, what the Manchester Evening News are saying, UEFA have confirmed a decision to release 61 million quid to help clubs during the current financial crisis caused by the coronavirus pandemic, including United and City. Basically, clubs in the Premier League and the Football League with international players at European level would have received money for allowing their players to take part in international matches this season and from the European Championships, which were supposed to take place this summer, and now this is going to be next season. So they released some money. If truth be told, I'm not sure how much we're actually going to get. 50 million euros has been released to clubs having released players for the 39 national teams not involved in the European qualified playoffs, or whoever's qualified. To be honest, how much is going to filter down to each club? It all sounds massive. When you talk about 60 million quid, but when it boils down to it, that's spread out between 676 clubs. How much is anybody going to get? I don't think it's going to be much. You're looking at it could be as little as a few grand. So it's a big old headline, 61 million. It sounds a lot, 61 million, but let's be honest, it's peanuts when it's actually shared around clubs. What else? City. What's City doing? They've got this new thing coming out on City Plus. And I've got that City on the Fire Stick. I might try and watch that occasionally. I never used to use my Fire Stick until I got this new signal booster for my Wi-Fi. So now I might start watching them, use the Fire Stick a bit more. But what they're doing, let's just have a look what they're doing. So City are doing this City Talks. So what they're going to do, they're going to basically talk to people. So the idea is 30-minute episodes featuring staff from across the business, and they'll be streamed live every Thursday at 4:00 UK time. And obviously the episodes will be available on demand. So over the next few weeks, we've got Gavin Makel, head of women's football. Jason Wilcox, you might have heard of him. He's played for Blackburn. He's the academy director. We've got Lorraine O'Malley, lead sports scientist, and David Young, who's the first team psychologist. Victoria Hayden, you might have heard of her. She's a senior club photographer. And Serena Gosling, who's the director of retail and licensing. So that's going to start next Thursday. And that's Gavin Makel, who'll be up first. And he'll talk about the growth and development of the women's team and how to build a successful team. So you can get involved yourself. You can send in your questions on social media, and they say they will include the best submissions. City Plus is available free to all citizens on desktop, TV, and the Man City app until football returns. When it returns, I think you can go on. It's £2 a month. So if you're interested in that, you can get involved. Let's have a look what's going down. Best stadium is Vicarage Road, Watford. I'm trying to remember how many I've been to. Some nice ones, but some of the old ones I can't even remember. I went to places like Burnden Park, where Bolton used to play before it became the Reebok. Been to places like Burnley when back in I think I went to Burnley in 1990. Places like Oldham and Bury's, Gig Lane, which is sadly Bury's not going to be with us anymore. So been there, Huddersfield, and other places. Oxford have been a few times, and obviously last season, FA Cup went down to Swansea, Swansea and Newport, which were interesting places to go. Free-to-air football, Angus. Look, it's all waffle and hot air, and they're just trying to find a way to do stuff and get people involved. And look, I'm sure that if they did it and they did it behind closed doors, millions would watch, because there's not a lot else to do. You're bored with watching Netflix. There's no live sport really at a high level on at the moment. And if they do play some football behind closed doors, people will watch. There's no doubt about that. You can't get away from that. But it's not, right now it's not for me. Cameron, nice to have you on board, Cameron. It'd probably be a money we paid for the fines coming into our club and the rags. No, I think, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's probably money we've already paid in fines, if that's what you're saying, Cameron. Angus been doing charge with Netflix, reading, yeah. Look, it's one of those things. I said to my lad, if you just play music, for 10 minutes a day, if you've been doing that for the last 6 weeks, that all adds up. Yeah. You'd have played about 8 hours, and that really does add up. That was your first ever game, Catherine. When was that? Angus, I did last stream. Last stream was fantastic, Angus. We had Mike on, Mike Long from Bolt from the Blue, and we talked about transfers, ins and outs. We moved on to this fundraising ride I'm going to do, hopefully starting on Sunday. I'll talk about that more tomorrow, hopefully, if I do the launch video. And we were chatting about songs, music, and talking about it's crazy. We're talking about Sisters of Mercy, The Mission, Fields of the Nephilim, New Order, The Smiths, all sorts of stuff from the 80s mostly, and just talking about music. Mike knows a lot of stuff about music. Reebok's the Macron now. Well, that's just a name change. Angus, it's not the same. The fans, yeah, absolutely. The 61. Don't know what that means, Catherine. It was 61. Don't know if you're talking to me or somebody else. Just aiming just for a few more minutes, guys, because I think tonight I've got a lot of work to do. I'm going to try and catch up on this work that I've been trying to do for ages. But this week has been pretty much kids. They're back in school, virtual school, so I've had to sit down and make sure they do the homework and help a little bit here and there, as well as spending time watching movies with them, and hopefully doing a bit of sport tomorrow with them. The idea is, sports-wise, they do a little bit on the exercise bike, a little bit of things like planks and stretching and stuff, and sit-ups and press-ups, basic stuff, and then hopefully about 10 minutes on the punch bag, so they can do a bit of boxing just to get that, a bit of punching out of the system. And then I sit down with them and do the music as well. So that takes a fair bit of time the day. So have you guys got anything else for me before I hit the road? And my computer's now saying, but I didn't bring a charge. The battery's going to go soon. Anything else to talk about, guys, before I see it? That's it. We're almost over. Almost over. Short one tonight. I did appear on the stream for about 5 or 6 minutes. Yeah. Yep, you did, Angus. It was a monster. It was a monster. It was great fun. And I'll do something with Mike. We're gonna have a quiz, Mike and me. We're gonna talk not football. We're gonna talk music. So I think the idea is we pick 10 songs each, and we play the music, and the other has to guess it. And I think it's just a chat, and it's kind of the chat sometimes I have with your mates. We talk for hours just talking about whatever, and just talking about music. We can talk for hours, and then listening to a bit, and I said to him, you've got to sing along and dance along to this music. You can't just listen to it. Got to do a bit with it, right, guys? I think that's it. I think we are winding down. I don't think there's many more questions coming through. This is really not. There's nothing new to talk about. The 6-0. Oh yeah. I was going to say the 61, but the 6-0 one. No, Angus, we beat Chelsea last season, but we beat Watford 6-0, I think, in Pep's first season. Or was it season 2? Sorry, Pep's season 2. Last season, the formidable season, we beat Chelsea 6-0. Centurion season, we beat Watford 6-0, I think. We absolutely mullered them. Right, guys, thank you so much for coming on. We're almost at half an hour. I think that's enough, especially after that monster stream last night. Please look after yourselves. Take care. And I'll be here back on Friday night. You guys take care, and we'll see you around Blues. Take it easy.